Om Namaste. This video is for our yoga group that's going to be meeting this fall on the Big Island, September 18th to October 2nd. I had planned to meet everyone yesterday, but we didn't get anyone on the call, so I'm bringing the video to you today. And I thought that what I would do is do a little introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. And I just want to say this is for you all, but also this is for anyone who might be interested. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the great spiritual scriptures of the world. It deserves study. And if you are into yoga or you're interested in yoga, I would say the Bhagavad Gita is a great starting point. If you really engage a little bit with the Bhagavad Gita, you're going to understand yoga that much better. And so what I thought I'd do right now with this video is talk a little bit about the Gita, as it's sometimes shortened. Gita means song, by the way, song, and Bhagavan is God, the song of God, right? Bhagavad Gita. When you put Bhagavan and Gita together, you get Bhagavad Gita. How old is the Gita? It depends who you ask. There's always a difference between scholars and traditionalists. Traditionalists will say this goes back, 5,000 years or so, and this is a real historical event that happened. Scholars will date it more to about 2,500 years ago. I'm not going to go into which one I think is right or correct. I don't know if it really matters per se. I think it's a story. It's a bit of a myth. I doubt that the dialogue actually happened. It's a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is an avatar. He's the incarnation of Vishnu, the preserver, the maintainer of the universe. There's Shiva, there's Brahma, there's Vishnu, and there's Shiva. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the preserver, and Shiva is called the destroyer. Vishnu is the one that incarnates, comes down to earth, manifests in human form. So Krishna is an avatar, a manifestation of Vishnu in human form. And basically the story is that there are two sides of the same family that are feuding. They're fighting over who is going to be the rulers of the kingdom. And one side is called the Pandavas and the other is the Kauravas. The Pandavas are headed by Arjuna, who is the greatest warrior. He's an archer and he's also the greatest warrior of his time. The Pandavas are really the rightful heirs of the kingdom, whereas the Kauravas are the usurpers. And they're, by hook and by crook, they try to get the kingdom away from the Pandavas. And that's this epic story called the Mahabharata is this epic tale. It's like 100,000 verses or something. And the Bhagavad Gita is actually only a very small part. It's only 700 verses out of this 100,000 verse epic story. And basically the story is, to make a very long story short, the Pandavas are the rightful heirs. The Kauravas are basically the same, like the cousins and the uncles and the teachers of the Pandavas. They're trying to get control of the kingdom. And finally, things get to the point where they cannot they cannot come to any kind of agreement or any kind of peace. And the final straw is they have to go to war. They cannot find any way of making peace together, so they're going to fight it out to the death. And that's how the Bhagavad Gita starts. They're on the battlefield, and Arjuna is in a chariot with Krishna, who is his chariot driver, and Krishna is also his advisor. And Arjuna asks Krishna, take me out to the middle of the battlefield to survey what's going on. I want to see I want to see the other side. I want to see who's in the other army, and I want to see what the story is here. So they go to the middle, and Arjuna gets very distraught. He gets very upset all of a sudden, and he puts down his bow and he says, "I can't do this, Krishna. I can't fight. I can't fight my own people. I can't kill my cousins, my uncles, my teachers. This is crazy. What do we do? What do we think we're gonna do here? It's better if we just if we don't fight, we'll let them kill us, and at least we won't have the blood on our hands. And if we do kill them, how can we even enjoy life after that? This is madness." And he puts down his bow and he says, "Krishna, I'm not going to fight, but I do want to hear from you. I want to hear your advice. Can you counsel me on this?" And so the rest of the Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's counsel to Arjuna. And Krishna, Krishna is God in human form. And you might think Krishna would say, "Arjuna, you're right. Killing is wrong. We don't want to kill anyone. That's just wrong. Let's get out of here." But that's not what Krishna says. Krishna actually, Krishna says, "I've told you all these things. Now you got to do what you think is right," basically. But Krishna does say to Arjuna, fight this battle. And it gives him all the reasons why he should fight. But in the process of telling him why he should fight, he goes on this long discourse about yoga. What is yoga? And what Krishna is telling Arjuna are things that got lost over the course of time. So Krishna is like bringing a new teaching to Arjuna in this moment. And he's telling him some secret teachings of yoga that really got lost over time. But Krishna says, I was the one that taught these things from the beginning of time. They got lost, and now I'm teaching them to you, who are a good student, and I want you to take them to heart. And basically, this is a whole big teaching about what is yoga. Now today, in our world today, yoga is mainly seen as a physical discipline, and it's helping many people. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it's not a physical discipline per se. There are no asanas in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna talks about asana, but he doesn't talk about physical postures. He's only talking about how to sit and meditate, basically. It's a spiritual discipline. It's a psycho-spiritual discipline that he's giving to Arjuna. So that is the first thing that I want to bring up. I've actually been working on a translation of the Bhagavad Gita. I've been just using different translations that are available. I've been making it, trying to maybe clean it up a little bit from what I'm seeing and make it more of like a student, so that students of the Bhagavad Gita can actually learn the Sanskrit a little bit easier. And maybe this is also going to help to clarify the language and get a little bit clearer about the language. So maybe we could just read just a little bit of the Gita. Chapter 2 is a summary. Like people say, if you had only one chapter to read chapter 2. Some people I've heard also chapter 10. Some people say chapter 18. But chapter 2 really has a lot of the basic teachings. We could read a few of the more important things that Krishna says in chapter 2. It might be helpful to hear the Sanskrit. Part of the teacher training By the way, I want to say that anyone listening to this who's interested, our training is open. We still have space available for our training on the Big Island. It's at a beautiful retreat center called Kalani on the Big Island. And, reach out to me if you're interested. So I want to make this short and sweet today, but I do want to encourage you to read chapter 2 of the Gita. I mean, the whole Gita is classic. If you really want to start to get a handle on what is yoga, you start with the Gita, I would say. Well, the Gita and the Upanishads. The Gita is an Upanishad. The Gita is really basically an Upanishad. And the Upanishad is a whole genre of literature that was a little bit earlier than the Bhagavad Gita and has some of the most profound teachings of India right there in the Upanishads. And the Bhagavad Gita is very similar to all to the more spiritual Upanishads. Not all the Upanishads are related to yoga exactly, but there are like 14 Upanishads that are very much on that subject of yoga and spirituality. The one that I would really recommend of the Upanishads is the Katha Upanishad, and we are definitely going to focus on that in our training as well. You see a lot of resemblance between the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Katha Upanishad. But anyway, let's read a little bit of chapter 2. So here is chapter 2, verse 16. I'm going to read the Sanskrit. I'm actually going to chant the Sanskrit. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubayorapi drishtonta, stvanayos tattvadarshibhi. The translation: it is found that what is unreal has no being, and also that what is real has no non-being. The truth about both propositions has been indeed discerned by the seers of truth. Okay, I'll read it one more time. It is found that what is unreal has no being, and also that what is real has no non-being. The truth about both propositions has been indeed discerned by the seers of truth. This is a way of saying that only what is real is true, is permanent, is lasting, is eternal. What is not real is illusory. Doesn't use the word illusory here, but that's essentially what he's getting at, is that what is not real, what is impermanent is not real. Anything that changes, anything that undergoes change is not real. So that's the way you can determine what is real and what is not real. Anything that undergoes change is not real. What never changes is real, is true, is permanent. Okay. Next verse, 17. Avinashitu tadvihi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayas na kaschit kartumarhati. Know that by which all this universe is pervaded to be indestructible. No one can cause the destruction of this, the imperishable. Let's go on. That one we won't stay with for right now. We'll have to go into it later. But all right. Let's go a little bit further, where Krishna gives Arjuna a definition of yoga. He gives him a couple definitions later in this chapter, and we're just going to go there. We're going to have to talk more about this. And I do have some questions for you to answer when you read the Bhagavad Gita. So I will send those questions to you. All right, let's read this one. This is before what I wanted to read to you, but this is verse 47. Karman yeva dikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. Ma karma pala hetur bur ma te sangos tva karmani. Your right is to action alone, but never at any time to its fruits. Never let the results, the fruit of action, be your motive, nor let there be attachment to inaction in you. So Krishna in the Gita is presenting a balanced, this is yoga in balance, life in balance. Basically, he's saying, give up attachment to what you do. Give up trying to make life what you think it should be. Give up trying to orchestrate things to work out the way you think they should be. Let life be what it is. Don't fight life. Don't notice when you are acting selfishly, and see if you can let go of the selfishness. Try to do things just because they're the right things to do, and not because you're trying to seek something. You have some kind of ulterior motive. And that is karma yoga, what he calls karma yoga. Karma just means action. The word karma is action. So action without attachment, that's karma yoga. All right, next one. This is the one I wanted to get to. Verse 48, chapter 2. Yogastar kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Fixed in yogic discipline, O Dhananjaya, which is a name for Arjuna, perform actions abandoning attachment, and the same in success and failure. Such evenness of mind is said to be yoga. So this is one that you could really, sit with, maybe meditate on this. This is like a definition of yoga. This is the first definition of yoga that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. He gives several in the Bhagavad Gita. And he says, fixed in yogic discipline, yogastha, Arjuna, perform actions, abandoning attachment. So abandon attachment to your actions, and be the same, or sama is the same, sama is Sanskrit. It's where we get our word same, in success and failure. So siddhi, asiddhi, in success and failure, be the same. So whether things work out for you or they don't work out for you, your mind does not get disturbed, right? Such evenness of mind, which is samatvam, is said to be yoga. So sometimes evenness of mind is how we translate samatvam, and sometimes people say equanimity. So you're in a place of equanimity. Equanimity means whatever happens, your mind does not get disturbed. Like you're resting, you're established in this place of whatever happens in life, you accept it with joy and with gratitude, as opposed to fighting life, as opposed to getting negative about life, feeling bitter, feeling resentful, feeling like this is unfair, but rather everything is an opportunity. Everything is a teaching. Everything, you can learn from everything. Even the hardest things have something to teach us, and they're probably coming our way because we have something to learn. Right? There are no accidents. That's a big one too. But we'll talk more about that. But let's read a couple more, and then we'll call it a video for today. Here we go. 49. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhao sharanam anvicha kripana pala hitavaha. Action is far inferior to buddhi yoga, Arjuna. Seek refuge in wisdom, buddhi. Pitiable are those whose motive is the fruit of action. So you don't want to seek the fruits. You want to let go of the fruits. You want to let go of the results of what you do. You don't want to be attached to the results of whatever you do, because that will only breed unhappiness and suffering. you want to learn Buddhi. Buddhi is Buddhi. The word Buddhi is one of the most often used words in the whole Bhagavad Gita. Buddhi means wisdom. Buddhi means discernment. Buddhi means your higher mind. You want to use discrimination, discernment. And that's what this is all about, is learning to use your mind, to realize you always have a choice. You always have a choice in how you're going to see things, right? You always have a choice in whether you're going to hold on to something and be attached, or you're going to let go and be free, right? That's a choice that only you can make. And that is when you start to get in touch with your higher mind. And according to this tradition, there are different levels of our mind, right? There's a lower mind, this is called manas, and there's buddhi. There's also ahankara, which is ego mind, and then there's manas, getting a little higher, and then buddhi, which is our higher mind. And the buddhi will take us ultimately to, you could say, to beauty. The buddhi will take us to our true self. It will take us to an awareness of our true reality. And let's read one more. This is another definition of yoga. This is verse 50. Let's see here. Buddhi yukto jahatita ube sukrita duskrite tasmad yogaya yujasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoked to such disciplined discernment, which is Buddhi yoga, one casts off in this world both good and evil deeds. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Yoga is skill in action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is skill in action. Skill in action means that you let go of the results. You let go of your attachment to what you do. You stop acting from a selfish motive, and you start to act more and more from doing things just because it's there to do. It's what needs to be done. And you just do whatever you can do, right? In the situation, you let go of the results of what it is. There's a great little quote, which is, you do your best and you give God the rest, or you do your best and you let go of the rest. If you don't like the word God. So yoking yourself to yoga, to Buddhi yoga, you free yourself, you liberate your consciousness, you liberate your mind. And that is the discipline of yoga. And that is, we call yoga union. Union is where you free yourself from seeing yourself as limited in any way, right? Lack and limitation are out the window, and you experience yourself now as a whole, as everything, as the whole. You don't experience yourself as a limited, suffering individual, alone in the universe. You feel yourself now one with everything, and that is the practice, right? That is the discipline of yoga. So thanks so much for listening, and those of you who are gonna come to this training, we're gonna do more. We're gonna get into all this more. We're definitely gonna do the physical practice, but we're also gonna keep coming back to the spiritual aspect of it, because that really is the root and the foundation of yoga. And would love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Anyone who's listening, but especially our little yoga group that's coming to Hawaii. So, all right, until then, aloha. See you soon. Bye-bye.